The economic situation in the border town is extremely poor, to the extent that the prince has to rely on his own funds to drive economic development. However, the amount of money he has is clearly insufficient for such a large-scale town, and the prince is on the verge of bankruptcy. How will he salvage the situation? Let's find out in this episode of the story. Ever since hiring Carl, Roland has had more free time. He spends his afternoon practicing with two witches in the garden, enjoying afternoon tea, and occasionally checking the progress of the construction of the city walls at the base of North Slope. It seems like a leisurely life, but in reality, the recent recruitment of craftsmen and laborers have been funded from his personal savings. With the current financial budget, it's unlikely to last until next spring. Roland furrows his brow. Relying solely on his own wallet is completely insufficient for developing the frontier town. However, the town's economic income is too meager, and he must find a way to improve the situation. The biggest source of income for the frontier town is ore, which has traditionally been sold to Longsong Fortress in exchange for protection during the months of demons. However, the returns from selling to Longsong Fortress are minimal, so this economic model must be changed this year. Several days later, the envoy from Longsong Fortress arrived at the frontier town. As he stepped onto the dock, he couldn't help but lament how run down the place still looked. They made their way to the storage area where the ore was usually kept, only to find it empty. The envoy was shocked and quickly borrowed 2 horses from a local farmer before galloping off to the palace with his assistant. Arriving at the palace, it happened to be mealtime, and Roland warmly greeted them and invited them to have a meal. He even offered them to use the chopsticks he had made. Roland explained that chopsticks could improve the habit of people eating with their hands and potentially reduce the mortality rate. Hearing this, the envoy thought to himself, "This 4th prince is indeed remarkable." After the meal, the envoy raised his concerns. According to tradition, today was the day for delivering the ore, but he didn't see any at the dock. Roland's expression turned serious as he explained that there had been a collapse in the mining area, resulting in only 2 months' worth of ore this year. They could only exchange it for 2 months' worth of wheat, as his people wouldn't survive the winter otherwise. The envoy offered a solution, suggesting that the 6 major families of Longsong Fortress could collectively lend 1 month's worth of food, with gradual repayment in the future. Roland sneered and said, "If we sell to Willowtown, there's no need for gradual repayment at all. Willowtown is willing to purchase the stones with golden dragons and sell the food at market prices. This mode of exchange, using golden dragons, is much more advantageous than the traditional barter system of Longsong Fortress." The envoy calculated the situation and made up his mind to compete for this business. He informed Roland that he would go back and negotiate to purchase the ore at a price of 30% below market value. Furthermore, he mentioned that Willowtown was too far from the border town, and the journey there to seek refuge from the months of demons would be perilous. However, Roland waved his hand dismissively, showing no concern. He stated that he would stay in the border town throughout the winter. He was currently constructing city walls and intended to transform the border town into the new frontier of the Kingdom of Grey Castle. The envoy was taken aback by the news of the city wall construction. It seemed that this prince was not the playboy that everyone claimed him to be. Feeling disheartened, the envoy left the border town and returned to consult with his father. After seeing the envoy off, Roland returned to his room to rest. Just as he closed the door, he turned his head and was startled to find a woman sitting on the bed. In a panic, he turned to run, but before he could move, a dagger whooshed through the air and lodged itself perfectly into the door, blocking Roland's path. Who is this woman, and what is she here for? Will she harm Roland? Stay tuned and join us for the next episode to find out.